6:02 or 3? 6:01, sorry. We're starting the meeting January 2nd. Call to order. Do I hit? There you go. The first thing on the agenda is election of chair and vice chair.
Call attendance first.
I'm sorry. Dawn, do you mind calling attendance for me, please?
Tammy Coons.
Here.
Excuse me, I was confounding your name. Jane Tichino? Thank you. Carrie Brown.
Here.
Benita Picasso.
Here.
Stephanie Cross.
Here.
Shani Starr. Laura Reed.
Here.
And I guess while we are at it, we have a new member. Jane, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Quick intro.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I've been a longtime resident of Kaiser. Hi. I grew up here in Kaiser, longtime resident. I have a son at McNary High School. He's a freshman. He's wrestling right now, so it's going really, really well, thankfully. And I was an employee with the school district for many years, and now I work for the state. So very excited to be here.
Thank you, Jane. And I think you have met most of us. We want to introduce ourselves again. We'll start right at the corner.
Tammy Coons.
I'm Carrie, you know me.
Benita Picasso.
Stephanie Cross. Shani Starr.
And Laura Reed.
Okay. We are moving on to the election of chair and vice chair.
Madam Chair, I'd like to recommend that maybe we wait until the next meeting because when I look at this, we're going to have a new counselor appointed and perhaps maybe 2 new counselor people, however those committee appointments roll out. We should have Counselor Christopher's appointee coming aboard as well as Mayor Clark's appointee. So that's 3, potentially 4 new people on the committee. So I think that group should elect the new leadership.
Okay. Are we okay with that?
If I might ask you, Benita and Don, when does your term expire?
December, I believe.
So December of this year. So it's basically, so you are position 1's appointee. And so I'm leaving position 1 and Marlene will be taking position 1 and therefore she will appoint your replacement.
But not until
Not until her term
Yeah. So when your term expires, then position 1 Marlene will, so you will outlive me. So just to clarify.
Okay.
Till December. Counselor Christopher gets to appoint someone to fill the vacancy when Thais' position expired. So you have that one. You have Mayor Clark's position. You have whoever will replace. So then there's 2 counselors that will be appointed to serve on this committee as voting members. So I would suggest waiting.
I'm okay with waiting.
I agree.
Yeah? Yeah, I'm okay. Okay. So we're moving the election of chair and vice chair to our next meeting, February meeting. I think it's on the 6th. Moving on to approval of minutes. Motion to approve those minutes for the last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Appearance of interest.
Wait, you got to call for a vote.
Did I what? Call for a vote.
All those in favor?
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed? Okay. Moving minutes. Appearance of interested persons. We have Liam.
Good evening. There we go. Good evening. So I'm Liam Stitt. I am the youth liaison to the Kaiser Parks and Recreation Board. And I recently decided I'm going to try and visit all the committee and or board meetings just to get a better sense of how city government works. That's partially the reason why I decided to what's the word? Ran more or less, for the liaison position. And I've always been a huge fan of politics. I've been interested in it, but my one weakness was with local and city government. So I'm on a quest to discover more. So my one question really for you all is, what exactly does your committee do, and how do you execute your various plans you've set forth?
Well, thank you for being here. Do we want to take that question? Anybody?
I'll take a stab at it. So this, the Community Diversity Engagement Committee was established to basically do the work of our Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion initiative that we passed several years back. And so our job is to make sure that ideally that we reach out to every member, every group in the community to make sure that they are heard. And we are always looking for new and interesting ways to do that. And we have been involved in various activities. A lot of times, different committees will run things by us. The traffic safety plan, for instance, that was run by us to get our input so we can look at it through our lens. And just to make sure that the justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion is being represented in all that we do. So we're an advisory committee, and we look at things through that particular lens.
I see. Okay. Thank you. That's really all I have. All right. Good evening.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'm moving faster than when I can turn pages here. Committee members' reports. Do we have any reports? Any report outs? Neighborhood Association report outs? We'll start with you.
No, it's on the website on the Neighborhood Associations page for the Greater Northeast Neighborhood Association.
All of Salem and Kaiser Neighborhood Associations and did a safety awareness. We served about 60-something people. We had people on Teams, we had people in and out of Zoom, and we had people in the building and had resources available. Other than that, nothing really to report.
Most neighborhood associations had December off.
So not a lot to report. And do we all know what neighbor association we have? Or do we need, yeah, okay. I think we can talk about it on the next meeting about who will be taking yours, right? Be this one. Okay, in March, moving on to agenda, March 11th work session recommended action items. I'm not sure, I guess I should be looking at, I missed the last meeting. Did we have a meeting in December?
Yeah, I think it was in December, and I think that the committee has pretty much talked through everything. I haven't removed it from the agenda because I haven't been asked to.
Do we feel like we have any discussions on number 7?
If I might, Madam Chair, so this is supposed to be, this was the rescheduling of the thing that was supposed to happen last, it was November or December? I think it was.
Just, yeah, the joint meeting was supposed to be December 5th, and then it got canceled.
Yes, so this was, so the key, and this is also going to involve members of the Volunteer Coordinating Committee. So one of the key issues with this is to discuss whether we are going to keep the appointment system or whether we were going to send our applicants through the Volunteer Coordinating Committee with our questions and rubric that we put forth and that we've been discussing for several months now. So that was kind of the crux of the issue, kind of the crux of what we were talking about, and getting the feedback from the Volunteer Coordinating Committee as to their comfort level in this, and also possibly setting a precedent for other committees in terms of the specific questions that we would like the Volunteer Coordinating Committee to ask. So that is, to my recollection, what this work session is supposed to be about. So we also have the definitions that we discussed, and I think that's really key to this because some of the feedback that we got from the Volunteer Coordinating Committee is they weren't entirely secure in what they were asking as far as what some of these terms meant. And so that was one of the things that we were going to discuss today to prepare that and make sure that that was prepared for the next, for the work session when it does happen.
I did see, Jane, you provided definitions on the terms. Do we want to discuss those? I think the one in question was justice, correct?
Yeah.
Copy, okay. Okay. I see it. So let's discuss. So we have the one that Tim, thank you for that, Carrie and Stephanie. So we got the one that Tim forwarded to us, the definitions, and then we also have the one that Jane provided to us. I'm going to open up for discussion on our thoughts.
I provided input late today, and it's in one of the papers that Dawn gave us. All I did was add the word religion to what Jane shared with us under the diversity definition. So it would read, the presence of different characteristics, experiences, and backgrounds within a group or community, including differences in race, gender, age, culture, religion. I added religion to that.
I like that there is a subtle but clear distinction between equity and justice in what Jane provided. Equity being the principle of fairness, justice is the pursuit of fairness and equity. So that pursuit, I think, is really key to making that distinction, because I think that that's kind of what we were all sort of wondering is, so how are these different? And I think that articulates that really well. I think these are great places to start. I think we should offer this, as an advisory committee, I think we should offer this at the work session to council to see if they have any input on these definitions as well.
So I agree with that assessment, because I think that what I was looking for in justice is action. And I think that the word pursuit encompasses the idea of taking action.
Yeah, I like it too.
Because if we just don't believe in diversity, inclusion, and equity and leave it at that, you know, if something is to happen, then justice takes over.
The action piece.
Good job.
Any other thoughts?
I would add to the justice in terms of setting policies. It involves upholding laws, holding people accountable for their actions, and striving to create society. But I would also add to that, it involves upholding laws, creating policy, because those aren't the same thing necessarily, but those, that is the purview of the council.
Creating policies.
Yeah, and I'm up to a word other than creating.
What did you say, Stephanie?
I said developing.
I like it.
Holding laws, wrongful arrest. It involves holding laws.
I would say that the term upholding laws, I mean, I'm going to assume that's not exactly what this committee does. And by definition, this has to reflect what this committee does, correct? So it wouldn't entail.
It would.
Definitions in the resolution, right? And so those are the definitions that I read it, that is city as a whole, city.
Everyone's.
Got it. Okay.
And that's why, you know, the policy is important to put in there too, because, you know, that sounds like just the police department, and it's not.
So on the language part, are we going with creating, or what was yours?
Developing.
I
Developing?
like developing.
Maybe developing and executing? Again, in the broader sense, just in terms of what, I mean, we again are an advisory committee. This is not just for this committee, but this is, you know, the baseline definitions to help everybody across the city.
What are we thinking?
Can you read the complete statement?
The justice one? Okay. Justice is the pursuit of fairness and equity, ensuring that all individuals are treated fairly, their rights are protected, and wrongs are addressed. It involves upholding laws, developing and executing policy, holding people accountable for their actions, and striving to create a society where everyone has equal access to opportunities and resources.
And just, can I clarify, Madam Chair? Yes. I think Counselor Reed read equity when it should be, is the pursuit of
Equality,
fairness and
yes,
equality.
yes, thank you. But that brings up another question. Do we want it to be equity, or is it equality what we mean?
You define equity above.
Yeah. So if justice is the action of the fairness and equity, that, that's, equity is the principle, justice is the action behind the principle. So in that case, again, do we mean equity or do we want to leave it equality?
Well, I guess I think of as quality as being the same for everybody, whereas equity makes more of an effort to make those that aren't up with whoever's up, right, come up to the other ones. So
And I,
like equality.
yeah, and I would agree, and I would think that if we're going to stick with equality, we probably should have a working definition of equality as well. I think just to simplify things, we should make it equity.
That's fine too.
What are we thinking?
That makes sense to me because I would agree that we should have a definition for the word equality if we are going to use it here. Otherwise, I think equity would serve its purpose.
I agree.
Now, another question, trying to establish these definitions. Have we asked for input from communities that aren't maybe as immediately represented? Because this is one thing for us to come up with these definitions on our own, but the communities we are trying to serve, I'm not quite sure how we'd go about doing that, but that's another question.
When do these need to be finalized, or would we have time to reach out?
The work session's not until March.
So we have another month or so?
So,
Month?
Tim, do you have any recommendations on how to get that input?
Sure. If we get to something that we're comfortable with tonight, we could float it by city staff as well. And then we have a handful of different groups that we could reach out to, maybe the chamber, those kind of places, just to get a knee-jerk feeling of how does this feel when you think about government services? Does this reflect what people are trying to see and what the city is doing? So we do have some contacts that we could reach out to. Depending on the feedback we get, I mean, we could go even further than that if we wanted to do a survey-ish kind of thing or something like that.
Do you have executive leadership team every Tuesday, or is it only on Tuesdays following council meetings?
That's every Tuesday.
Okay, so you could theoretically run this through ELT on Tuesday, right?
Absolutely. That would be the first place I would go. And then we can figure out a strategy to disperse it to appropriate folks.
Great, thank you.
So let's get the definition on justice then. Are we okay with diversity, inclusion, and equity, the ones above? And are we okay with adding religion? Okay. So the only one in question is justice. Okay. And the one we are discussing right now, or the word is equality versus equity. Do we want to, I think the opinion is if we have equality, we have to add a definition of that as well. If we move it to equity, then it kind of serves its purpose because we already have it. I think it's more identifying what is it that we're looking for in this definition. Like Stephanie just mentioned, is it equal or are we providing what is needed based on? So
I think it should. I think it should be equity.
okay.
Just to be focused.
Can that be a question that on the outreach that we do, rather than just us deciding what word and then floating that out there? Can we put that as part of the input that we're looking for?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I think it would be, we can if we don't come to a resolution today, but I think if we extend it even more, I mean, that might be, we've been on this topic for quite some time now.
Well, and it's a process, and I think this is a good draft. you know, I think the more input we get on it, the more prepared we'll be for the discussion in March. But I think this is, you know, I feel good about this as a draft.
Do we want to then add that question, whether we want equity or equality, or do we feel comfortable with one word or the other as a group?
I would recommend that we put forth equity just as sort of the package, but definitely float that out there as a possibility. I think that in our work here tonight, it would make sense, but definitely leave it open for the question.
What do you think?
That's fine.
Well,
Karen?
I tend to agree with Laura to make it simpler.
Consistent.
Yeah, it follows what we have already.
Rather than create more definitions.
Jane?
The simpler the better, I think Tim wanted that.
I really wanted one word, but I'm not getting it.
Yeah, I feel like, for simplicity's sake, equity, again, serves its purpose. I would be interested in maybe hearing a perspective from someone who's non-white, just what do they think about this? But if this is something that has been worked on for quite some time now, I'm not exactly sure what the time frame is, but to me personally, yeah, I feel like using equity.
I can share it with the neighborhood associations and attend those meetings. We all start meeting again this month, so
Well, and the neighborhood councils as well.
yeah, the neighborhood family councils as well. We do use equity in most of that, but there are places where we use equality because it serves a higher purpose. So I can reach out to CBEL as well.
So I think changing it to equity, and then we can add that question on the bottom for the equality portion if we want to bring that forth. But I think for the purpose of finalizing that paragraph, is the pursuit of fairness and equity, ensuring that all individuals are treated fairly, their rights are protected, and wrongs are addressed. It involves upholding laws. And did we define the language on developing or creating policy?
I think we should go with developing and executing policy.
I like that too. Because it shows we're taking action and making sure that it gets done.
Okay. So it will read, it involves upholding laws, developing policy, and executing.
Developing and
executing
executing policy.
Okay. Holding people accountable for their action and striving to create a society where everyone has equal access to opportunities and resources. The rest of it looks good? Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
And then we're going to add that question on the bottom, whether the language or the word equity or equality is, yes, Tim.
If you folks do go out and share this with other groups, just remind them this is a draft. This hasn't been adopted by anyone anywhere yet. So we're just seeking preliminary feedback. I just don't want our horse to get in front of our cart too much. Thank you.
Any other questions on this part? Or comments? Okay, we're moving it along. Other businesses, staff liaison reports.
I'll go ahead and keep it relatively quick. I do appreciate all the feedback I've gotten on this engagement matrix. I've shared it with a few folks internally within the city, and they're pretty excited about it. The next step will be I will formally present it to the executive leadership team next Tuesday with all the changes that I've gotten so far. And we'll push it through the city organization to see what kind of comments, questions they have. And hopefully I'll be able to get all that feedback ready to go, and by our next meeting be able to present that back to you as a relatively final-ish kind of document, or much more final than it is in this draft form. So again, I appreciate all the feedback I got, and let's move this one forward again. I think that's the only other thing I have. I will be regenerating the staff report from the December meeting that we skipped and getting that ready for March. So I'll present that at our meeting in February, and we can kick the tires on that to see if I'm missing anything that you folks feel is important to get ready for the March meeting. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Anybody else? It's going to be a quick meeting then. I'll give you the gift of time. Yes.
If I may, I would just like to thank everybody on this committee for all your hard work. This is my last meeting, and I just really appreciate the camaraderie, the diligent effort, and the sincere desire to serve our community from this committee. And so I know it can be frustrating trying to get things off the ground here, but you are all very dedicated, and I really appreciate that, and I've enjoyed working with you, so thank you.
Thank you. You will be missed. Thank you for the opportunity that you have offered to me. I appreciate it very much, and I do think that whoever comes behind you has a lot to look after, or big shoes to fill, for sure.
Thank you.
Anything else? Yes.
So I just wanted to clarify that in the resolution for this committee, it states that the chair and the vice chair elections take place at the first meeting of the year. And I know that you have a consensus to postpone it, but I just want to bring that to your attention. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Well, we are postponing it to the next one. If we don't have anything else, again, I'm going to give you the gift of time, 35 or 25 minutes back. Thank you for being here today. Jane, welcome. We look forward to you being here next month. And with that, meeting is adjourned.